See you looking high, I'll let you know pride. You know that I'm like what you do. Don't know if I'm meant to reassure you. My life would be purposeless without you. If I wanted, when I ask you, you inspire me to be better. You challenge me for the better. So they can let me pour out my love letter. Let me help you take off your...
Wait a damn minute. Before we start this video, I'm gonna need your ass to go subscribe. I'll wait. Hey y'all, it's your girl Tom, and we're back here again with another video. Today, we're gonna be reading the book, Somewhere in the Darkness by Walter D. Myers. I decided to choose this book because, one, I've been trying to get back into reading and stuff like that. And it didn't really matter the genre. I was just trying to, pick a book. So this one kind of stuck out to me. First, we're going to read kind of like the back just to see what it's about. Okay, the back says, first action, let's just clear our energy. Let's do a little energy clearance. Let's see. I want you guys to focus on the smoke and the way it's burning. Can you see that? Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. You don't see it? You focus on the smoke and the way it's burning. I want you to just keep your energy calm. Keep it nice and calm. Keep it nice and calm. That way our energy can stay nice and focused and grounded during our reading. Okay, thanks for tuning in. And let's get started. Alright, so the back says, finding a father, finding a son. Jimmy doing all right. He's 14, lives in Harlem, and is holding his own in a pretty tough world. But things get together when Jimmy's father, Crab, shows up. Crab disappeared 9 years ago, and now he wants to show up to get to know his son. Crab and Jimmy set off a trip halfway across the country to visit Crab's old haunts. While Jimmy may not understand the choices that his father has made, he realized that he can give Crab one thing that Crab truly needs: forgiveness. Okay, so that's kind of just letting us know what the story is kind of going to be about. So let's get into it. I'm not going to start from the first chapter, only because, I don't feel like it. Because why not start from the second chapter? Why not? Anyway, let's start. So it says, let me stop. I don't put it out. Let me see. Okay, so let's get into it. I just like this because it's okay. I love a good sage and a good incense before a good read. You don't understand, guys. It's so cleansing to just, send to your space. But yeah. We're on chapter 2, so stay with me. Alright, hold on. How do I... my whole setup is just a mess. If you guys could see it, you guys will laugh. But anyway. Alright. Cookie came back with an umbrella, a small red one, that Jimmy wouldn't have carried across the street, let alone to school. She couldn't find my umbrella, Cookie said. She had this piece of thing. You want to take it? That's okay, Jimmy answered. It's not raining that hard. Cookie said something about him thinking he was too much of a man to carry a red umbrella. But he saw that he was disappointed that Nancy didn't have her umbrella. You're going to get soaked in the rain if the rain picks up, she said. Then I'll come here to make you fix me some tea, he said. He pulled his jacket up around his collar. Drop by when you get home, she said. When he reached the doorway, the rain had just about stopped, but it was cold and windy. Bits of the paper flooded down the street, it between parked cars slapping against the legs of the morning early workers. Hurrying toward the subway across the street, some little boys were standing around Mr. Johnson. The neighborhood drunk was leaning against the building, going through his pockets looking for whatever he had there. Jimmy was already late for school, but he was trying to figure out a strategy. He needed to know what to do, how to get things together to get him through the year. It was March, and he had only a few months to go. If only he had it to get it all together, just to get it out of the 10th grade. Then maybe be straight to the 11th. Okay, guys, to ease my throat, because I don't know what's going on with my throat, but I lost my voice a couple of days ago. And I just can't get it today. So you know what? We're going to do this. Okay. Okay. Where did I start at? I don't even remember where I stopped. I'm gonna just wing it. I can never do this, you know? I would feel the urge to bite it. See, this is why I burn incense, because I get I get distracted. So we gotta recenter our energy. Hold on. Let's make sure it gets straight. Once it goes straight again, we know we're focused. See, we're not focusing. You gotta get it focused. That's the coolest shit. I just want to stop and talk about this for a second. So all of my, see that? I know a lot of people think like, oh my god, that's so easy. When you I'm telling you, when you train your energy to just be calm, you start playing with fire and smoke. It's just the funny shit. I love it. This one smells really good too. I don't know, I'll be smelling them. Just extra. Let me just clear y'all energy right quick. Ow. I don't want that. That's bad juju. Alright, yeah. Alright, I've been practicing, y'all, so tell me if it feels like clear. Let me clear y'all space. Alright. So I want you to focus on a place that makes you feel at your most happiest and that makes you feel at your most I want you to find your quiet place. Imagine whatever smell that really like gets your nose to like, you know? For me, this smells very like fruity, kind of like hardwood, kind of, you smell kind of like, it smells like, you know, when they just paint the floors, and when they just like, when it's hardwood floors and they just shine and gloss them. That's what it smells like, and then it has like a little amber wood kind of smell to it. I'm telling y'all, when y'all recenter and refocus your energy, you gotta recenter yourself and just clear all of the negative energy away. Okay. Let me finish the book. I done got distracted like 30 times. But we're gonna just wing it. It was March and he had only a few months to go. If he could only get it together just one more time, just for a few months, he can get out of the 10th grade and maybe just be straight for the 11th. He was way behind, but he knew that for some other kids didn't have any more than he got going for them. Only they didn't have a bad attendance record. That's what they got you on. You could be bad in school and maybe still get out of the first. Most other kids messed up too, but the attendance record was different. They'd get you on that and then leave you back in a minute. That wind was in his face and he leaned forward into it. Already that familiar smells of garlic and fried plantains was in the air. An old bow-legged man stood in the doorway of the Muslim shop with his chessboard under his arm. A sharp cry came from behind him and he turned. A kid had thrown something at Mr. Johnson. The drunk was just partially crippled. Waved at them with his hand and ranted. Jimmy turned on his heel and went back to the small crowd. Yo, y'all get out of there and leave him alone, he called out. Who you? A defiant little boy, Jimmy figured. He couldn't have been more than mine. Step forward. I'm the guy that's gonna kick your little butt, Jimmy said, pushing the boy back with his body. The boy looked at Jimmy sullenly, then backed off. The other kid started off. I can't read as much as like I'm supposed to be using those to see. I can't, and it's terrible. I need to really talk to my eye doctor about that. But it's neither here nor there. Y'all, somewhere in the darkness is like, I'm just done with the book. But no, I'm just kidding. It's a really good book. Go get it. I know you probably thought I was gonna read it to you, but I lied. So, yeah. Go read that. It's a really great book, seriously. I don't know what it is. Like I can't keep it together. Stay focused long enough to read it. I did really want to try something different. I was just like, oh shit, this would be cool. Read a book. Hold on. I'm trying to try new writing. Oh shoot. My eyes is like, is this really happening? What the hell? Okay. Alright. We're just gonna go back for it and we're gonna go to page 59. Cause fuck it, why not? I'm not gonna actually read this whole book. I know you didn't think that. It's silly about it. Okay. Page 59 says, you were sad. What you figured? Crab lifted the bottle of beer to his lips and tilted his head back. For a second, Jimmy watched his Adam's apple bob. Then he looked away. Crab spoke to the barmaid, got another beer and another soda for Jimmy, and wrote down something to the barmaid was telling him. He brought the soda and the beer back to the table and went to the telephone and made a call. From the telephone, he went to the bathroom. Jimmy touched the money in his sock again. We got us the place to stay tonight, Crab said. When he said that from the bathroom, a rooming house off state. Oh, Jimmy said. They ate at McDonald's and Jimmy saw that Crab had a roll of bills. He wondered if there was $1,000. Then went to the rooming house first, and Crab paid a short white woman for the week's stay. The woman wore a wig that had slipped back on her head. There wasn't much hair on the front part of her head. Damn. The desk she sat at was piled high with old magazines, and she had a clear spot to count the money. She counted the money slowly, licking her thumb as she went through the $68. I fucking hate that. Why the fuck do people sit here and do... Now that is so fucking dirty, because, like, they're passing it around, and everybody's, like, licking their fucking fingers and then touching the fucking money. Like, I should be so fucking nasty. Like, I fucking dare somebody to lick my fucking money and then give it to me. Like, no, fucking keep that shit. That ass. Keep that shit. Don't even fucking give it to me no more. I don't even want it. Just take it home. Okay, anyway. We're back. Don't judge me. Anyhow. This is the most ghettoest book club I ever fucking been to. It's okay. Tell a friend. Tell a friend. Tell a homie. Tell a homie. Okay, ooh. She counted the money slowly, licking her thumb as she went through the $68. You get clean linen now on and on Saturday morning, she said, rubbing a stubby finger alongside her nose. Her stubby finger. That sounds so fucking ugly. If you don't handle it and back in, you have to pay $14. The woman gave Crab the keys and leaned back from the desk. We'll pick up the linen when we get back, Crab said. They have the car parked down from the street. The rooming house is near the construction site. Where Crab tried to start it again, there was a whirring sound and the car went dead. He tried it again and the car engine reared again, this time at a higher pitch. As Crab punched the accelerator pedal, then coughed and stopped altogether. Crab laughed. Jimmy had thought that he would be angry, but he laughed instead. It was the first time Jimmy had seen him smile. Car sounds like an old mule, he said. It makes a little noise and it don't move. They left the car and took the cab out of the house. To the woman that Crab knew. The house was nice on the outside. It wasn't special, but it was a real house with a porch on the front. On the side of the porch was a rusty bicycle leaning against some old tires. On the other side, there was a card table. A radio on the card table between the stations. There was music and a guy giving news at the same time. Jimmy thought the woman who came out of the door and went to the radio must have been the woman that came to see. Now you ain't a sight of sore eyes, Crab said. Crab little. The woman came to the edge of the steps and held her arms. Ain't you something? Ain't I though? Crab put his arms around her and smiled, then pulled off the steps. They started to talking back and forth, almost at the same time. Jimmy stood to one side. He turned his head when he saw Mavis' door open, and that boy looked his age, maybe a year older, stepped out and leaned against the doorframe. Mavis' Stokes looked young, almost as young as Cookie. A basketball cap sat at the angle from the side of their head. How are you doing? This your boy? She said, asked Crab, looking at Jimmy. Yeah, that's my boy. Yeah, he sure looked like you, Mavis said. Come on in and sit down. Damn, getting comfortable. The boy stood at the door and Mavis and Crab went in. But he never took his eyes from Jimmy. Jimmy nodded as he passed into the house, but the boy didn't acknowledge it. Frank, get Jimmy something to drink, Mavis said. They sat down and Crab and Mavis started talking about somebody that they hadn't talked about in a long time. A boy named Tony. Mavis said Tony had bought 5 cars and now running a car service. Right here in Chicago, Crab said. Right here, Mavis answered. I mean, I never thought that Tony would ever get into anything. Tony must have hit the number or something. He didn't hit no number. He just went out and saved his money. Frank put some cards on the table, and Jimmy saw some of them were soda. You got a bathroom? Right down the hall on the left, sugar, Mavis said. Jimmy went down the hall, pushed open the first door he got to, and saw it was the bathroom. He closed the door behind him, locked it, and checked the money in his sock again. He thought of Mama Jean and realized that he didn't know how long it had been away from her. He had left in the evening. It was almost evening again. 2 days. They were a long way from New York. For only 2 days, he thought. When he got out of the bathroom, Crab was sitting at the table in the kitchen, and Mavis was putting on her makeup in the mirror. There was a bottle of liquor on the table in front of Crab, and he had a glass in his hand. The television was on, and Jimmy sat on the chair right in front of it. Frank's filling out nice, Crab said. Jimmy looked over towards Frank and was placing the rolls of tape on the end of the table. Since he had been boxing, things has been eating me out of a house. Since he had been boxing, he's been eating me out of a house and a home, Mavis said. It's good to be able to take care of yourself, Crab said. He poured himself another drink. Mama Dream never drink. I don't want to put nothing into this body that I can't take out as easy as I put in, she said. I gotta go, Mavis said. I started this little piece of job. I better get to be on time. How long you guys going to stay in Chicago? Depends on how long things works out. How long you guys... Okay. Then we gotta get on. Where you staying? We got a place we can hit in upstate. You got a place already, Mavis said. I thought you just got here. Did, Crab said. I had to find a place though. Can't lay up on you. Mavis looked over at Jimmy and smiled. I would say something, she said, but we got too many young ears in here. What kind of work you doing, Crab asked. Working in a nursing home. A nursing home, Mavis said. I'm out tomorrow. You and what's your name, honey? Jimmy, you coming over tomorrow for breakfast? Yeah, Crab said, and I'll bring over some scotch. Talk that talk. Mavis leaned over and kissed Crab. Frank said, smiling, don't be staying out all night, Mavis said, and don't go over to Roosevelt. Frank nodded. Then don't have nothing over to them projects, but a whole lot of shooting and cutting, Mavis said, and you better be over here tomorrow for breakfast, Crab. How long you been working nights, Crab asked. For a while. She's been putting on her coat, Crab grunted. You didn't write to me to tell me that. It ain't been that long, she said. If I'd have known you've been getting out, I would have been writing you and let you know that. In fact, I would have came over to meet you at the station. We drove to Chicago, Crab said. He looked at Jimmy from the corner of his eye and then quickly looked away. Crab and Mavis walked arm to arm to the bus stop. Frank locked the door and followed Jimmy. Carrying a gym bag, Crab and Mavis kissed when the bus arrived. So where are you going? Crab asked Frank when the bus pulled away. I gotta go down to the gym, Frank said. I got a fight coming up soon. How far is the gym? About 4 blocks, Frank said. Yeah, you know, we come to watch you work out. Sure, Frank said. There was something about Frank that made Jimmy feel uneasy. Frank kept looking at him, sizing him up, letting him know that he was sizing him up. How old are you? Crab said he looked down at Martin Luther King Avenue. 16, Frank said. Jimmy felt glad that the boy was older than what he was. I can make the Golden Gloves this year. My trainer said if I win 2-3 rounds of fights, he'll let me into the Golden Gloves. You pretty good with your hands, Crab said. Yeah, Frank had twisted a smile. Jimmy thought that it was a nice-looking guy, strong-looking. He had his hair cut close on the sides, a large letter H over the lightning bolt shaved into his hair. The gym, although it looked small on the outside, was large on the inside. The smell of sweat hung in the air. Fighters worked singly or in small groups. Some were shadowboxing, a couple were hitting and punching bags, and some were just rope skipping and push-ups. Frank went into the dressing room and Crab and Jimmy sat down on the wooden chairs in front of the ring. A little man came over to them. He was very, very dark and had very white hair. You looking for something? We're here with Frank, Crab said. We're going to watch him work out. Is he a young fighter too, he asked, looking at Jimmy. Jimmy shook his head. Ain't got the heart for it, huh? The old man said. Jimmy shrugged. Maybe next year, Crab said. Jimmy didn't look at Crab. Frank came out and shadowboxed for a while. He didn't look at that tough. He went into the small punching bag and began to hit it. He did that for about 2 minutes. That's to get your coordination together, Crab said. You know a lot about boxing, Jimmy said. Lots of guys box at the Slam. The Slam? In prison? Oh, Jimmy had a vision of prisoners all dressed in black and white, striped prison suits, and gloves boxing each other. The old man who had spoken to Crab and Jimmy went over to Frank and turned his back to Crab and Jimmy. Jimmy wondered what he was saying. Frank nodded and got back into the ring. Okay, y'all. The old man called another boy over and pointed to the ring. The boy got in with Frank. They were going to box. There's a couple of other fighters that came over and sat down to Jimmy and Crab. The old man blew a whistle, and the other fighters went to the middle of the ring. The boy who was against Frank was bigger than he was. He circled Frank, threw out both his hands, and pushed Frank back. Frank started jerking from side to side. He looked as if he knew what he was doing. Then he started swinging. He swung wild but started hitting hard. He hit the boy up near his shoulders, and the boy started moving back, side to side. Don't back up, the old man called out. Keep your hands up. Frank came over to the boy again. This time the boy called and don't move back. He covered up and Frank flailed at him. Don't just stand there. You gotta fight back. You gotta fight back, the old man said. The boy lifted his arm to swing at Frank. Frank hit him in the jaw. The boy fell down. The old man shook his head. He's looking for a way to fall. I don't even know why you came to the gym. Some guys are like that, Crab said to Jimmy under his breath. They're just looking for a way to get out of a fight. They can lose. They don't care. Just as long as they ain't fighting. Because they don't got the heart for it. You know what I mean? Jimmy wanted to say that he did, but nothing came out. He just nodded. The boy came into the ring and got up shaking his head. And the old man yelled at him. Told him he didn't have nothing in there to shake. Then they went on the fighting. Frank went on beating the boy pretty bad. Jimmy wondered why the boy was there and if he didn't want to fight. They fight 2 rounds, and then the old man blew the whistle and said the fight was over. Then he called 2 more boys into the ring. You want to stay here? I gotta go to the downtown. See some people, Crab said. I'll go with you, Jimmy said. Yeah, okay, let me tell Frank we're going. Crab walked over to the door where Frank was, put his arm around him, and then said something to him. Frank nodded. Then he waved his fist at Jimmy, and Jimmy waved his hand back. On the way to Jimmy, thought about how Crab had his arm around Frank. He didn't like the way that they had something they knew, like they were friends or something. They walked halfway down the block and Crab stopped. I forgot to ask him when Mavis get home, he said. Look, I gotta make this phone call. Go on back and ask him when Mavis gets home. Crab walked onto the phone and Jimmy walked back to the gym. When he got back, he looked around and he looked around for Frank. He saw him punching the heavy punching bag and walked over to him. The baggy gray pants Frank was wearing were dark with sweats in the back. When he saw Jimmy approach, he moved closer to the bag. He pushed it with his head and bent his knees and get power into his punches. Jimmy stood away from him, knowing that Frank knew he was there. Frank grunted as he threw punches, the sweat flying from his brow. He punched the bag hard, again and again and again, sometimes pushing it with his head, sometimes the shoulder so that it would swing into the proper position. He doubled up in his punches, got wilder with his swings, and tried to punch the bag towards Jimmy. Jimmy saw that it wouldn't reach him and stood to the ground. Finally, Frank stopped punching and breathing heavily, looked over at Jimmy. Crab wants to know when Mavis gets home, Jimmy said. Why? Frank asked. He hit the bag twice, glancing blows that made it spin. He just told me to come ask you, Jimmy said. Where are you from? New York. New York? You think you're bad, huh? I didn't say I was bad, Jimmy said. Frank hit the bag a couple times. I think you look like a punk. You look like a punk to me, he said. So you don't know when she gets home, Jimmy said. I said I think you look like a punk, Frank said. Jimmy turned and started walking away. Frank came after him. He could feel Frank coming. Frank grabbed him by his arm and spun him around. I didn't tell you to go, man, Frank said. Look, I hit a man so hard once I broke his jaw. You think you know what I would do to somebody like you? Jimmy didn't say anything. He looked into Frank's eyes. That was the way you did it in New York, he thought. No matter how scared you might be, you look into their eyes. Frank turned and walked away. Tell him she'll be home at 10 o'clock, he said over his shoulder. Jimmy didn't turn back. He didn't know why Frank was mad. He knew that he didn't like Frank. He went out and saw Crab talking to the telephone. He slowly started walking to the phone booth, regaining his composure as he did. Crab got off just as he reached the booth. What did he say, Crab said? He said she'll be home at 10 o'clock. Come on. I gotta go downtown. A friend of mine got me a job. I'll give you the address to the place we stayed. You go in there and wait for me, okay? I don't mind going on to the job, Jimmy said. You go on to the place, Crab said. There was the edge in his voice. Yeah, okay. You think you can get a place if I tell you how to go? Crab asked. The edge was off his voice. I think so, Jimmy said. I gotta take a cab to it, right? You don't need no cab, man. I ain't got no cab money. Get the bus. Tell him you get off at the Khalil Street, okay? Crab went through his pockets and found $5 and gave it to Jimmy. I gotta go into the job, Crab said. Start getting some bread together. What kind of job you got? Gotta blow some horn, man, Crab said. Crab gave Jimmy $2 in change and pointed out to the bus stop and then turned around to Jimmy and said he should watch out when he went to it. When Jimmy turned back towards where he left Crab, the older man was still standing in the spot. Jimmy was crying. A man with a paper cup came up to him and asked if he had any donations. Jimmy turned away as he walked up to an older woman crying, carrying shopping bags. The tears had running down his face, and for the first time he had met Crab, he was angry. He stood at the bus stop and looked Crab down the street. Crab started walking away from him. They began his stiff-legged run as the bus was coming. He got there in time for the bus, and he was gone first. Jimmy thought he was looking around for the Greyhound station. He couldn't start back to New York, he thought. The bus came and Jimmy got on. I want to get off at Khalil Street, Jimmy said. Stop. The bus driver ignored him. On the way back to the rooming house, Jimmy thought about how Crab sounded when he asked about the job. Gotta blow some horn, man, he said. He said it like he was some kid in school being cool, or maybe like Frank being tough. Sometimes he seemed okay like a regular person. When he was acting like a regular person, then Jimmy could think about it. It would be like being around him. He could think about driving and talking and looking at the pictures. He I hadn't even asked him about his mother, not yet. There were other things that he thought he wanted to know too. He wanted to know what kind of things Crab had been thinking about in jail. Behind everything, that moment in the hall when we had first heard him speak, at the time Jimmy had been curious, but he had been scared too. Now the thought of him and Crab in the hallway was a shadow of a darkening his memory that filled him with dread, wonder, and delight. His father had came from somewhere, from some place, from some other time, when his mother had been alive, and when he had either been a baby or not born yet. Nothing had gone wrong in his life then. I didn't even realize that my camera cut off, but I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know where it really stopped at. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this little story. I kind of did it a little, Anyway, we just gotta ignore that. But if you guys did enjoy this story, I got a bunch of fucking other chapter books that I kind of just, ended up finding. So if you guys want to see some more stories and you want to hear some more story times, whether it be through podcasts, etc., let me know. I'll give that to you guys. I'm sorry, my voice is kind of a little off. But before we go, I do want to tell you guys about sage smudge spray. If you guys do not want to sage your house with actual sage and use anything like lighters or anything, you don't want to burn anything in your house, you do have a secondary option. This is not a sponsored video, so if y'all do want to sponsor me, listen, I'm open to it. I'll put my business email. If you guys want to send me some smudge sprays, instance, whatever the case may be, I'm open to it. This one in particular has distilled water, sage, lavender, cedarwood, essential oils, glycerin, and I'm not sure what that is. But it says spray anywhere for alternative smokeless smudge. Purify body and space and restore balance. So basically, we're just gonna shake this up like this, and we're just gonna spray you guys really quickly. Actually, I'm just gonna spray it myself because I don't want to waste it on camera. But anywho, hold on. Oh shit! All right, so we're just gonna. All right, I'm gonna spray you guys. All right. Okay, I hope you guys got that. Hold on. I don't know if you guys saw that, but anywho, I don't want to waste it. But I hope you guys feel a little bit lighter, and I just wanted to do this in a little bit of downtime because I'm not sure about you, but before I go to bed or before I lay down, I like to either listen to music, read a book, do something that kind of relaxes my mind and relieves me. So hopefully if you guys like this, I can make this a part of a series and we kind of start doing this more often, and I could kind of make days for us to do this because yeah, you never know. So anywho, if you guys like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and you already know. Keep that great ass vibe. But bye y'all.